come spend the day with me as a 25-year-old sugar baby. So my sugar daddy wanted to take me to New York with him. Oh my god. I'll never say no. He bought me a ticket and oh my god, look at the space in this cabin. He always wants to take me on his trips and girl, I will be there at the airport. So I had to get a little drinky drink. You already know. This is what was on the menu. I got a little lonely, so I went and joined him up front at his seat. Gotta give him a little sugar, otherwise he won't take me anywhere. So, you know how to get my little drink. This is drink 1. Now we're watching a little movie. Drink 2. Okay, feeling the drinks. We got some food. This tiramisu was delicious. That's all I have to say. And I really wanted to go to Chrome Hearts. So here I am, thumb battling him to take me. And guess what? I won Chrome Hearts. After we landed, we went straight to the Diamond District and bought a chain. Look, so shiny. Wow, cute. After that, we went to this immersive art exhibit. This place was called Mercer Labs, and I felt like I was on mushrooms. Wow, look, there's me. We had some drinks at the Taste Lab, and then we had some dinner. Burrata Bay, you already know. Some cheesecake, delish. And then the next day, we went into the city. Here we are at Ichiran. If you know, you know. They only have these in Japan. And then after we went to a rooftop and we saw the Empire State Building. I have no idea what goes on over there, but it was fun. And then we found this guy and he took us to another bar. And I swear I thought we were going to crash. I don't know what he was doing here. He was going for a joyride. But it was fun. I feared my life a little bit, not too much. The drinks kicked in. And like I said, here's Chrome Hearts. He lost, I won. And yeah, I got a pendant. This pizza was delicious.
Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. As you see, we are going to be talking about the downside of being a sugar baby. You know, as you see on the left of the screen, you know, this is what people typically think of. And even towards the beginning of this video, you know, they think like, oh my gosh, I'm always going to get flied out. Or I'm always going to go to these exotic places and get these exotic gifts. And I'm just going to be living a life of luxury with no problems. And sometimes that's helpful. Sometimes that does happen, and good for those women that does happen to. However, a lot of these women do not share the downsides, and I feel like you need to share the downsides to help other women who are interested in going into this lifestyle. I have a part 1 of Sprinkle Life Isn't What You Think It Is, Isn't Always What You Think It Is. I'm going to link that in the comments. That's 2 in-depth stories about women who situation went downhill. This is going to be more than one woman, and it's not going to be in-depth stories, but they're going to give you story times of what happened when they was a sugar baby. So go ahead and watch those. I will be back towards the end.
Did y'all hear about that girl that was recording and she had a sugar daddy and he got mad that she didn't give him no sugar and he kept buying her stuff and he was getting fed up? Obviously he did look like he was drunk, but did y'all see that video? Before I got saved, I used to, before Sprinkle came up, OGs know, things on social media, especially on YouTube, there was a lot of laws of attraction and manipulating videos that were on the social media platform before Shira 7 years ago. And I used to study front and back those channels and do those things to lure men and get things. And at one point I just had to stop because I remember I was in a situation where I was in this man's house. It was a mini mansion, okay? And this man was drunk. And I couldn't keep using him. I clearly seen that this man was going down a horrible road. And he was so drunk, and I was super terrified, y'all. And I just couldn't keep taking advantage of him. And that was the scariest moment, me being at his house by myself, nobody knew. He could have did X, Y, and Z to me just out of the blue, and nobody would have known. He lived in the middle of nowhere. And I was I can't do this anymore. I can't go any deeper. I can't keep manipulating people. I can't keep manipulating men. I can't keep using them, even though, of course, we know this is a transaction. You obviously know that I'm here to get something from you, but you're supposed to be getting something from me too, because I understand how people think. They think that it's okay to keep living that lifestyle because it's you want something for me, I want something for you, but it's manipulation. And it's very just leave them alone. Leave the men that have money alone, okay? they are in a dark space when they are seeking sugar babies. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're going through a lot. Like, if you actually sit with them and talk with them, and like, I didn't have the heart to keep doing that anymore. And it was just like, oh my gosh, like, this man is miserable. And I couldn't do it anymore. I tapped out. I had tapped out. I couldn't do the quote unquote sprinkle lifestyle before sprinkle was out, because this was like, what, 2018 or 19? But yeah, oh, it was horrible, man. That was horrible. But yeah, there's a video trending, and yeah, this man, you can clearly see this man is going, like, if you see people, if you can see people spiritually, you can see what's going on with him spiritually. But yeah.
Hey, so the Lord wanted me to come on here and tell my testimony. I have many parts of my testimony, so this is a testimony that he wants me to share, and the testimony of me being a sugar baby and my life as a sugar baby. Okay, so I got radically saved in my bedroom while I was sleeping. I went to sleep a sinner and I woke up saved. But a part of my testimony that a lot of people do not know is that I was a sugar baby, and I became one right after I graduated college, or a little bit after I graduated college. How I first got wind of this was, of course, I was told about it in college. I went to a university that was very known for having sugar babies. It was top one on the list, to be completely honest. So I heard about it probably my junior year or so, and I went to this thing that I had to do an extra project for class, and he was like, oh yeah, like, I got this bracelet. Have you ever heard of seeking arrangements? And I'm thinking back to myself. I'm like, yeah, I heard about that a couple years ago. So one thing that the devil likes to imitate of God is also planting seeds. So that seed of seeking arrangements or being a sugar baby was already planted way before the guy told me about it, about my senior year. So I was like, okay, yeah, I heard about it. So I went on there because it was a very popular time when everybody was doing, I mean, Amber Rose was promoting the slut walk. Like, let's be completely honest. OnlyFans was very popular, or was on its brink of becoming very popular. And women were, you know, just being like, it's my body, it's my choice, I can do whatever I want. But at the same time, that's how the devil lures you into prostitution. A lot of these sites and a lot of these girls out here that are promoting being a sugar baby are also not telling you that it's being an escort. It's being simple as that. If you are receiving money for sex, because a lot of them are like, oh, I'm just spending time with them. They're lying. They're lying. They're not just spending time with that man. They are spending time and having sex with that man. And it lures you into having sex with married men, having sex with married men and their women. That was something that I didn't do, but I'm just letting you know what's on these sites. Married men that their wives don't know, and married men that their wives do know. So seeking arrangements, if you're on that site, I'm just letting you know that it's glorifying. So back to my story. So I thought nothing of it at the time. I was like, okay, well, let me see how this goes. And there you go. It's a Venus flytrap. You just get sucked in and you think nothing of it. So yeah, I was around finance guys, you know, lawyers, ex-military men, any type of man that you think is on that website. The ones that pretend to have money are on the website too. And when I mean a lot of men pretend to have money, they pretend to have money. Only thing they have to offer you is sex. a lot of them do not have money. Yes, there are girls who get lucky, but if you think that they're just spending time with that man, they're lying. They're having sex with those old men. And that even persuaded me to be like, oh, okay, yeah, I like older men because the men my age, they don't really like me. Another lie of the enemy to make you think that. And older men are not mature. They're just as childish as the men of your age group. So don't think, oh, well, an older man's going to take care of me, da 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 da. Absolutely not. They lie just as bad. They lie just as bad, or even worse. And a lot of them are recently divorced. They don't have too much money to spare to you sometimes. In some cases, I got the bottom of the barrel. That's just how it tumbled and spiraled into me just calling it a sugar baby, but it was just to mask that I was really in. And I know a lot of y'all are looking like, you look so innocent, you look like this. And that's the thing. A lot of people don't know that I have a lot of depths to my testimony of Jesus Christ and what he saved me from. Because I look so innocent. If you see me in person, I'm like 4'11". I have glasses on. I'm a little soft-spoken at times. And you would think that I've been in Jesus my whole entire life. And I absolutely wasn't. I wasn't in Jesus until I got saved December 5th of 2021. So I've been in Christ for about like 2 years now. So that's why God really wanted me to tell my testimony, because he wants me to be not afraid and ashamed of my testimony, and to help other people understand that I'm actually really relatable. I am a millennial, okay? So all the dumb, crazy stuff that you did in college, I did a lot of crazy stuff in college, not too much in high school because I didn't really talk to a lot of people and I really hated the town that I grew up in. So all the crazy stuff that you did in college, there's a 99.999% chance I did the exact same crazy stuff that you did. Promise you that. I just look very innocent. And I play into that a little bit too much. And I think God doesn't want me to play into that because I have to speak to a multitude of people to bring them to Christ, because we're all fisher of men, just like he told Peter and his brother Andrew. So I was a sugar baby for about 2 years or so, or I don't know what to really explain it as of why I did it. I just needed money. I was so greedy for money and I needed help. I needed the things that I needed. And I didn't know Jesus at the time. I didn't know how powerful the name was. I didn't even know how powerful the blood was. I didn't even know I can even call on a man named Jesus. That's how far away I was from the church. So I just needed money. And the girls were making it seem so popular. And I was doing mine in secret and in silence. Nobody really knew that I was a sugar baby other than my 2 best friends. And no one knew that I was, struggling out here to get money and that I was sleeping with men to pay the rest of my bills or to get a little change here and there. But I really wasn't receiving a lot of things other than soul ties that I have been battling and fighting for the past 2 years since I've gotten saved. So if you think that it is worth being a sugar baby, it's not. If you think it's worth the money, it's not. You will have to fight more spiritually than you will receive in the natural.
I'm gonna tell y'all about the time I got kind of scammed by a sugar mama. I'm gonna try to do this in one part. Let me preface this with, I have learned my lesson since. This chick contacts me on Instagram, right? She's talking about, like, oh, I like to help people, like, that's all I want to do, like, you seem like somebody that I could really enjoy helping, like, I don't want anything from you, like, just talk to me, be my friend. I'm like, okay, what do I have to lose out of this? That should have been red flag number 1. Hello, they always want something. My time wasn't really enough. I don't really feel like anyway. Red flag number 2 was off of Instagram. She wants me to download WhatsApp. She was doing that thing where scammers do, where, like, I didn't really notice till later. Like, I did, but it wasn't really, like, I just thought she was a disabled older woman. Where she would, like, say, like, sentences all choppy, where it's, like, she doesn't really speak English. I don't really know how to explain it. So after fighting it for some time, I finally decide, fuck it, I'll download WhatsApp. So I download WhatsApp, and I don't really connect much to it. Like, I'm just, like, not really in it, you know? So then, I finally decide to give her my one credit card where there's only debt on it. There's like $2 left before I'm completely at my limit. So I got nothing to lose from this, right? I think. She's talking about how her old sugar baby died from like a car accident and how she was just looking for a new person to talk to. Super, super demanding on my time. If I wasn't responding consistently throughout the day, she was flipping on me. There's definitely going to be a part 2, but only a part 2, not a part 3. I don't really with, like, people making demands on my time like that. I just don't like that. Like, do not tell me when I be responding to you. Like, I emotionally am not available like that, alright? Like, I be going through things that I don't really have the mental capacity to constantly be responding to people. So after some fighting with her and telling her, like, I'm not getting anything from this at this point, like, just leave me alone, she's like, I give her my bank account information, like I said, and it's a bank account I don't care about. Just debt on it. This was when I first moved up here. She promises me this money, like, just to pay me for whatever, you know? Like, oh, I'm gonna pay you now that we've talked for a bit. I don't know how much she's gonna pay me. But I'm like, finally, like, I've done enough talking to you, like, I don't want to talk to you, you are demanding as hell on my time. Part 2 coming. Part 2 of how I got scammed. So I was very cautious to make sure she didn't have access to, like, an account where I actually had money. But she did really want me to, like, give her a debit card. She was kind of upset that I gave her a credit card and it was only a credit card account. So I look one night and I noticed that my credit card's completely paid off. I only have, like, a $500 limit, so, and don't judge me. I'm like, oh, she actually paid it. It's crazy. Usually, these people are scammers. I'm literally thinking this at the time. The day she pays it, like, the next day she tells me, like, I need you to buy me this gift card. Red flag. She is super, like, persistent about this gift card, too. She wants me to buy her a couple Google Play gift cards for her Bitcoins. I didn't do it. I was like, I have to walk to the store. I'm not about to go walk to the store for you and buy you gift cards with my credit card. I only had, like, $100 available that day. Like, it was, like, some odd hours before. It was supposed to be, like, 48 or whatever hours. She did it on Friday, so the entire amount of the money was not going to be available in the weekend. Only $100 became available to me out of the 500. She wanted me to use that 100 to get her gift cards. I said no. All was cool over the weekend. I had that $100 on my card. I didn't use any of it. Like, it was just whatever. Monday, I tried to log into my card, and my account was locked. I was like, weird. I called the bank, and they're like, we need proof of the person who deposited this money into your account. Like, we need proof of their bank account. I told them that I couldn't do that it was a friend of mine, that I didn't have access to all that stuff. They said, oh, well, tough shit. As my grandma would say, tough titty, said the kitty when milk ran dry. So I lost access to my bank account, completely locked, and the card is back to a negative $500 bank balance. I tell her, like, hey, I need this stuff, and she's like, my account is locked too. My account's locked too. So after all this happened, I just said, fuck you, and I blocked her, right, like, on everything. She started emailing me. I don't know how she found my email. It wasn't the email I had listed on my Instagram, and I didn't give her this, like, email for anything. Threats on threats on threats. She had my social security number, my current address. I didn't give any of this stuff to her, and I didn't have any of this stuff listed. I just moved up here. She was saying she'd have people at my doorstep, all this stuff, right? She had me scared for like 2 weeks. Blowing up my email. Sending my parents' address, saying I can't hide, they can't hide. I wonder if she'll see this.
Finally time that I tell y'all how I got my sugar daddy. About time. I started working in the bar scene. I was a bartender and a server when I was like 17 years old, and that's basically when I met him. So he started off as my regular, and every time I would work he would go in and tip me like $100 every single night that I worked. And one day he just told me, he was like, if you need any financial assistance, let me know. He knew that I was like 17, barely out of high school, had my own apartment, so he just kind of really liked me, and he knew like my situation that I was in. Started off as slow. He would like ask me if I needed any help to cover my rent for the month, and he would just pay, like if I was short like $100-$200, he would just buy me the difference. Like he bought me a PS4 when they first came out for Christmas, and that's kind of when I started realizing like, oh, like he's actually gonna give me his money. So then once he started giving me like more and more money, like we would just go and meet out at places, and he would take me and pay for like my food to go eat, you know, dinners, and he would just give me like what, $300-$400 right then and there at the table. And then we started getting closer, so then I felt more comfortable, and I actually started going to his house. This is when I was like 18, so you know. Now whenever I would go over, we would literally just like chill and watch TV, literally in the living room, sitting on the couch. Like he doesn't have no kids, no wife or anything. And when I tell y'all that I think he literally just liked company, because he wouldn't try to touch me, he wouldn't try to get me to drink at his house, like literally nothing. It was just us kicking it at his crib, like how I would kick at any other homeboy's crib, you know. So he started getting comfortable, and I would just go to his house maybe like once or twice a month, and when it was not like a set allowance, I'd be like, hey, you think that you can like spot me like $400-$500 because my car broke? So a couple months go by, and he starts giving me like $500 every 2 weeks, turning into $1,000 a month. So it was probably like literally like 2 or 3 years of this man giving me $1,000 a month. So at this point I'm 21, and now he's like, okay, well, I'm giving you all this bread, when am I gonna get the sugar? And that's when I cut him off. Bye. So am I even a sugar baby if I didn't give up no sugar?
I've been dying to tell you all about this crazy Miami sugar daddy story from swim week, and I was waiting until my friend Jackie was here so I can also get her reaction to tell you all the story. So like I told y'all before, I got to create a direct for swim week, which I was so excited about, and I handpicked all the models. Mind you, I talked to all of them, I casted all of them for the show, and so we had them come like a couple hours before the actual show started so they can like walk on the stage and kind of get a feel of how they should walk, and like, you know, what direction they should be, and like, you know, figure out any errors and stuff that they were having. So during the show, in the corner, I see an older man, and I remember that one of the models had told me, oh, like one of my dad might be stopping in, like I just need to grab something for him, and then I'll get back in line and I'll like practice my walk. So I had that in the back of my mind, and let's call this girl Carrie. So because she told me that, I was like, hey, like, how are you? And he was like, oh my God, you're gorgeous, you're stunning, you're beautiful. I'm like, oh my God, thank you so much. I was like, so like, are you here with one of the models? And he was like, yeah, I am. I was like, oh, so you must be Carrie's dad. Like, she told me you have something to give her. And he goes, no. He's like, not like you thought I was somebody's father. He's like, I'm dating one of the girls that are in the show. Mind you, everyone in that show is 25 and under, and this man literally looks like he's in his 50s, pushing 60s, like beer belly and all, wearing a Gucci shirt, just kind of watching, damn near drooling over these models. So I'm like, okay, and he sees my face. He's like, no, I'm not somebody's father, but like, forget about that. How are you? You're literally gorgeous. Like, how old are you? What's your name? And I'm like, I have a show to tend to. I was like, it's nice meeting you. Like, feel free to mingle, because he had a ticket. It's not like I could have kicked him out. And he was like, actually, I wanted to see what backstage looks like. And I'm like, you can't come backstage because the models are changing. They're changing their clothes. You can't just like walk in. And he was like, no, I'll be fine. You know, I'm on the older side. I'm not like a perv or anything. And I'm like staring at him like, okay. So I tell security, like, make sure he does not pass like this line, like make sure he does not get backstage, like he's not allowed to be there. And one of the models put me aside, and she was like, I think that's her sugar daddy. So I'm like, excuse me. I was like, I tapped the model, and I was like, do you know him? And she was like, yeah, that's my boyfriend. And I'm sitting here like, I'm not here to judge, but I definitely saw your papers and your ID, and it definitely said you're 21. So she comes out, and he has like a front row seat, and he's like, yes, baby, you look so beautiful. Give it to me, work. And like, she's like giving him like all the poses, and I'm just sitting here like in awe, jaw on the floor. I was like, you couldn't pay me to do that in front of a whole entire audience. So at the end of it, he's like showing all the models that he has like a boat, he has all this money, and then he basically leaves his girlfriend and takes 2 of the models from the show with him. And the girl's like, oh, like texting him like, where's my ride? And I'm like, do you like need me to call you an Uber or something? I'm like, I'm trying to make sure she's okay. And she was like, yeah, he just does this all the time. And I'm sitting here like, okay. Okay. So mind you, she's telling me like he controls all her finances. Like she's waiting for him to call her Uber. So I'm like, are you sure you don't need to call me Uber? She's like, no, like I'll wait, Like I guess it's not the first time it's happened to her. Mind you, this girl is definitely not from here. She's from a European country that starts with a R. And like she definitely has a thick accent. So I feel so bad for her because like she like is stuttering talking English, but she's very beautiful, a great model. And I'm sitting here like, are you sure you don't need me to call you Uber? You don't need help? And she's like, no, I'm gonna just wait for him. So she waits for him all night. The cleanup crew comes, the event is done, and she's still outside waiting for this sugar daddy to call her a ride back until he finally does. And he tells her like, oh, I'm at the house with the other models, like, pull up. And I'm like, okay. No, I'm telling you, it's freaking insane. And then finally she leaves, and I text her like to make sure she's okay, but then he responds to me and he's like, oh yeah, like this is so and so sugar daddy, like when is the payment for the models coming through? And so then I'm like making sure, I'm like, I need to get verification from her that the payment is going to you. And he starts like sending me stuff that like he pays for everything, and he like basically runs her life, and like everything goes through him. And so then she calls me to give me verification, so the money gets sent to him. The end. Yeah. So don't let social media fool you. This whole sugar daddy thing that you see from these Miami girls, it's not all cupcakes and brownies and everything is sweet. Because he controls her finances, was left outside for hours while he was mingling with other models. And
okay, so let's get into it. And before I hear all the former or current sugar babies say, oh, this isn't true, this isn't how it always goes, and blah, 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 we know that, okay? We're not talking about the sugar baby, sugar daddy, strictly transactional relationships that don't go very far, that don't go downhill. We're not talking about those. This is for the women who want to know the risk, who are thinking about doing it, and who might even be currently doing it and don't know the dangers that come with it. So that's why I do content like this, so we can kind of look at every single aspect. Because I'm not gonna lie, looking at the first video I posted and all this sugar baby content, you would really think like, oh wow, this seems easy. This is something I can do. Like this is no problem at all. I don't even have to mess with this person. And a lot of times that's not the case. It's just like that young lady with the natural hair said, who shared her testimony, which shout out to her, by the way, because it's not easy to share something like that on the internet, but she felt called to do it spiritually. So shout out to her. But just like she said, like, please don't think that these women are not out here having sex, because a lot of times they are. And that is very true. A lot of times these women are, and women who currently lived that lifestyle, they'll share it with you. That a lot of times those situations go downhill, especially if you are trying to be in a relationship or you're in a relationship that never tends to work. Because especially once they start having sex with you and they see it as very transactional, they're like, look, I paid for you, I bought you, you're my property, you're mine. So you cannot be giving my property, my investment to another person. I'm the one paying for it. You know what I mean? So a lot of them tend to get very controlling and dominant when it comes to these kind of situations. So you have to be careful. I'm not surprised that last story, how that girl who had to solely rely on him because she wasn't even a U.S. citizen, and he's out still looking for other models and stuff. Yeah, because men like that, they always want to be fed. You know what I mean? You're just currently the nice, young looking dessert that he has, the young looking, prize that he has to walk around with and carry around with. So when it comes to these situations, a lot of times they're not going to be fulfilled and satisfied because they're looking for the next thing. And see, me personally, I have to question when it comes to men of this age, like if you're not currently like married, retired, traveling with your wife and family, enjoying your grandchildren, I have to question why. Like, why are you still living this bachelor lifestyle? Unless your spouse has passed and you decided to do that, that's a little different. But why are you currently living this lifestyle and not enjoying life with your spouse and your grandkids? Like, that's a real question that people don't care to ask men, especially when they hit a certain age. A lot of men from my dating experience, and I'm in my 30s, I've been married, I've been divorced, I have children, etc. And a lot of men tend to want to settle down and get married right when they hit about 40. When they get close to 40, like I want to say most of them 37 and up, or when they get close to it, they're like, you know what, I want to build a legacy. It's time. I've had my fun. I want to settle down. So it's like when they are anywhere from like 40s and up, and they have not, been married, or, when you're meeting them as a sugar baby and they're your sugar dad, and they are not actually just enjoying time with their wife and their kids. Again, you need to be asking these kind of questions in your head, like, okay. And then here comes the other part. Some of them are married with kids. So another thing that you have to think about is, are you okay morally doing this? Because obviously 9 times out of 10, his wife does not know about this. So you're partaking in a low vibrational energy with him, because this is a secret lifestyle he hides from his spouse. Now, I'm a person who believes in karma. So I believe that whatever you put out comes back to you. So if you know that, now, not for y'all who don't know, but if you do know that he's secretly hiding this from his wife, how do you think spiritually you're going to be looked at? Okay, from your spirit guides, God, etc. I seen this one TikToker. She was this black woman. She was on vacation with this older black man, and she's like, yep, while his wife's at home, I'm enjoying vacation with him, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, girl, you really, in a weird way, you acting like you're not bothered, but you must be, because why would you even got to bring that up? Like, why you got to bring his wife up? So it's like, again, if he can do that behind his wife's back and stuff, like, what kind of man is he, and why do you want to participate in that? Because again, that always comes back, and it might not come back in the way you think it is. It might not come back when you get married and it happens to you, which again is likely. It might come back in the form of your child having to go through it, or your family members having to go through it. So you have to be careful in what energy you partake in spiritually, because God is always watching. So that's what I have to say when it comes to this situation. Again, ladies, if you wanting to participate in this, I would recommend that you sit with some OGs who have been through this and let them really talk to you about the dangers of this lifestyle and how to go about this lifestyle. And I guarantee you, a lot of them are going to say this is temporary. Don't stay in it. Just like the strip game. This is temporary. If you are looking to get your way through college or whatever, this is temporary. Get in and get out. Don't ever travel. Like the crazy first story, do not travel. Okay. Do not, I'm talking about overseas and all of that with none of your friends or anything to go see this man. All of that is so dangerous. It's so dangerous. That girl is still missing. So you need to be careful. Sit with some OGs. I know this whole sprinkle Shara. She's been, if you don't know who she is, she's like the whole viral, sugar baby god. All these women look up to her. And even though I agree with some of her points, Shara also, in my opinion, says some low vibrational things. I have also heard her say things about messing with husbands because they have money and all this kind of stuff to some of her people. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, her husband as well had somebody else when she met him, and she took him from her or something. Again, low vibrational, y'all. Money does not buy everything. It does not buy peace of mind. And how you met that man is maybe how you lose him. You have to look at his morals and values, etc. But, I guess to her, it's still a win because she still has all these materialistic things. But me, I'm the type of person who wants peace. My goal will always be peace of mind. You know what I mean? So that's what I have to say. Let me know what y'all think when it comes to this whole lifestyle. If you've had stories, definitely share them. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see y'all in the next one.